Hey, Viola Rules here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So we're about to look at the security tape again. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I forgot to turn the volume up on my computer. I need to turn it back down. Okay, there we go. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. I'm guessing the confrontation that happened between him and Meekins is what I need to point out. I'm not sure if this is the correct... I don't know how exact the timestamp has to be, but, back up a bit. I guess this? Well, what do you have to say to that? Alright, partner. You really want to know the reason I had to open my locker? Why? So I could stuff you in there. Huh? I'm sure the world would be a better place with you sent off to the boneyard. Jesus. Hey, unfortunately unsolved cases can't be stored in the evidence room. Now I'm an unsolved case? Oh, does that mean I went wrong? Oh, that means I did something wrong. Oh, I didn't go far enough. Okay, yeah, the blood stain on his jacket. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't see that before, even though we've watched this tape multiple times. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room. I don't know what that reason was, yet. Yet? Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, huh, partner? Yeah, I'm good when I actually, think through things instead of just jumping to conclusions. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here, now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. All right. It seems the time has come. Marshall's confession. Okay, so he has lies in his confession, too? I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Large quantities of blood traces were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. Of that much blood, he would be dead. It looked like too much blood for that. Marshall's confession. Okay, so I lost an exclamation mark. That hurts. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. Press that. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL-9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the detective who was in charge of it can look through, the evidence, I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him and planned to take out the evidence. Press that. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. Thanks? The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall? So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprint. Normally that locker shouldn't have opened. So it opened because a rubber glove was stuck in the door by chance? Then Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Ooh. I was expecting Officer Meekins, I knocked him out. I'm just gonna press everything. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Yeah, I'm actually curious about that too. Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? Oh, of course it's the one you constantly keep shaving your face with. I don't know what to say. So what happened next? I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates that a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me. I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Ooh, we got something. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. Oh, somebody else had already emptied it. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Ooh. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Also, that doesn't make Edgeworth look good since everybody thinks he tries to conceal evidence. They probably think he stole it. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. You can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Ooh, so you could get fired over this. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL-9 incident. You know why? No, I don't know why. Tell me more. Well, that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for those crimes. One thing I can say for sure, he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's why I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is? I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. Okay, so we went back to the beginning. I want to look at the SL-9 case files that Lana gave to us. Check. Okay, so closed, criminal, Joe Dark, crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Yep. Victims, Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Wait, one of the victims was related to him? What did the other pages say? Head prosecutor was Miles, witnesses were Lana Skye and Emma Skye, executive investigators were Damon Gant and Lana Skye, head investigator was Bruce Goodman, investigators were Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. Okay, the important part is the thing that I read before, that his brother was killed? Or something? Someone related to him anyway, I assume brother, with the same last name, but, the murder, I can't forget the SL-9 incident, you know why. I think I need to present the case files to that statement. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Present. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL-9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL-9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Oh, so his brother was a prosecutor. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL-9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. Oh, wow. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, chief detective at the time. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. Well, most of it. I still feel like we're missing something. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. Mostly. No murder took place at the police department that day. I can't agree with that. The things that happened by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries at the police department have been uncovered. No contradictions remain. The murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. There were no errors in the testimony of the witness, Angel Starr. No errors? What? If you have a response, make it one word or less. Oh, come on, Phoenix. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Oh, hello. Emma?
Your Honor, wait!
Emma?
The defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right?
What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor, in a sense...
Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edward, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. If you want a minute, I'll give you 3.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out that the SL-9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Skye sisters were in that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again.
Wait, aren't we 30 minutes away from there or something like that? She ran really far for that. So did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
So, what? Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now.
What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing?
I object. There's no problem. I object.
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is that you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intensely at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Oh, I see what he's getting at. Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. I think I see what Phoenix Wright is getting at,
I just pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time.
But that's my thing.
Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
I'm pretty sure we're referring to the Blue Badger panel, right?
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Okay, we get it.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime.
Well, what?
Yeah, Edgeworth sees it. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
So that means, just what exactly does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma.
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So, that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time.
Oh.
Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Gutman when he was really murdered.
That's ridiculous! I refute you!
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves it occurred. When did the first incident occur?
To surmise, the defense claims that Prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was disguised as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us, when did this first incident occur? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? The ID card record, right? There's only one ID that we haven't placed yet. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the perpetrator would have had entered the room. In order to do so, an ID card is required. An ID card? Oh, the ID card record! Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50. Right. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40. Do not. Oh my god, no. Okay, we have to clear Miles' name again, and we'll do that in the next episode. Why do they keep doing this to Miles Edgeworth? He hasn't done anything wrong. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, give it a like. Also be sure to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter, as well as support my Patreon. And check out my reaction channel. All those links will be in the description below. And subscribe for more. If you are subscribed or a new subscriber right now, be sure to hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload videos. This is Viola Rules, signing off. Talk to you later.